Hello, I'm Brynne of ABC for Health, and today we're taking a closer look at why it's important that you understand your health insurance. There are a couple things we're going to talk about today over the next couple minutes, understanding the importance of knowing the basics of health insurance, learning a little bit about when we should think about coverage, and then where to go for some more information. Ask yourself this question: how much do you know right now about healthcare coverage, about public benefits programs or private insurance? The answer might surprise you, but we went ahead and we asked a couple of our own staff members, how much did they know about private insurance or public benefits when they were in high school? So let's hear what some of them had to say.
I knew very little about health insurance. I knew that if I was sick, I would tell my mom, and then she would call the doctor, and magically I would get an appointment, and that's all.
I really didn't know basically anything at all. I knew that I had it, but that's about it.
Absolutely nothing.
I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know anything about networks or anything like that. Just we went to the doctor and they showed a card and that was it.
Not much. I was included on my parents' plans, so I was dependent on what they knew.
So why should you understand more about health insurance coverage? Well, first of all, so you can get the most out of it. Let coverage help you better manage your health care, whether you're concerned about chronic health conditions or emerging issues, or if you just want a checkup. Take advantage of some preventative care at the same time. People that understand what's covered will be able to better use those services and stay healthy. Why else would we want to understand our health insurance? Well, to avoid surprises. You don't want to get a big bill in the mail. You don't want to know what you should be paying out of pocket when you get to the doctor's office. You want to know that in advance. You should better understand things like premiums, how much you need to pay each month to keep your insurance. Things like out-of-pocket costs, like deductibles or co-pays that go along with insurance. And then you also want to know about some networks. Which doctor can you go to? All of these things are good to know in advance instead of learning or being surprised by them after the fact. We also want to know which coverage transitions to watch for. We'll talk about in a little bit when we should be thinking about coverage transitions, but right now we just know that we should be thinking about insurance a little bit more frequently than you are right now. Why else do we want to understand our insurance? To be connected. There's a concept called a medical home. It's called being connected to your doctors and nurses and a care team that sees you through care transitions and as you're growing. If you know which doctors and nurses and hospitals are part of your insurance network, you can be better connected to that care team. You also want to make sure you have a good relationship with your primary care provider. Why else do we want to know about health insurance? Well, it's better to start early because there is a lot to learn. The types of coverage, the different private insurance plans. Are you on your parents' insurance? If so, how long can you stay on that insurance? Are you eligible for a program like Badger Care Plus or Katie Beckett Medicaid? If so, for how long can you be on that program and at what eligibility? How much does the coverage cost and which doctors does it cover? What about covered services and immunizations or prescriptions? How do you know how to read an insurance policy? There's a lot to learn about private insurance and public benefits. And if you start early and start slow, you can get a lot of knowledge pretty quickly. You also can learn where to go for help, and we'll talk about that in just a second as well. But finally, why should we understand insurance? So you can take charge of your own health care. You can do this. Be a leader in your own health care decisions. Know your rights and responsibilities, and you'll find a little knowledge goes a long way. So why should teens and young adults learn about health care coverage? Let's go back to those same staff members of mine that we were talking with before and see why they think it's important that teens and young adults learn about healthcare coverage. You don't have to take my word for it. Let's see what they have to say.
Soon you'll be an adult and you'll have to have a working knowledge of how to navigate coverage, how to advocate for yourself, and many other things.
You'll know exactly what you're getting into when you go for care.
I think a lot of teens were like me who had health insurance through their parents, and pretty soon you get to the age where that's not really the case anymore, and it's important to be able to know kind of what you're getting into when it comes to time.
Yeah, no, accidents happen and it can get expensive.
So we talked about why healthcare coverage was important and why we should learn about it early. Let's talk a little bit now about when we should be thinking about coverage. Well, let's identify some key transitions that might be important. The first is obvious: age. When you turn 18 or 19, or if you turn 26 and age off your parents' insurance. Or if you're a senior citizen and you're turning 65, age is a key driver of key moments in your life when you should be thinking about healthcare coverage. But there are other moments as well. Maybe you have a change in income. Maybe you just got a job. You might be eligible for insurance through that job. Maybe you're eligible for insurance through a parent's job, and maybe they just changed employment. Maybe your service needs are changing. Maybe a condition you have is getting better, or maybe it's worsening. That might be a time to take a look at your insurance and make sure it's working for you and giving you the services that you need. Maybe you have changes in things like your immigration status, or you're moving to a new address, or maybe your family size is changing. Somebody might have had a baby. Those are all key moments when you should be thinking about coverage. So you're probably saying to yourself right now, sounds like we should be thinking about healthcare coverage all the time. Don't let it be overwhelming, but let it be in the back of your mind that if there's a big change going on in your household or in what's happening in your life, that might be a moment to reevaluate the kind of healthcare coverage that you have. Now, finally, let's just end up with a couple suggestions of where you can go for more information. There's a lot to read out there on the basics of health insurance, and some suggestions of where you can get started can be as simple as sitting down at your computer and looking up a couple websites. One of them is healthcare.gov. This is the health insurance marketplace where people can buy private insurance during select times of the year. But they have a lot of information on their website that explains definitions, concepts. It lets you know the difference between premiums and deductibles and what to expect when you have private insurance. Check out healthcare.gov if you have a free moment. There are other sites like the Kaiser Family Foundation and Families USA that produce a lot of information that's relevant to families, young adults, children, and senior citizens alike. You can visit our own website, healthwatchwisconsin.org, and click on the Resources tab. You'll find other videos and some publications that might help you understand some concept about insurance. You can visit Wisconsin Health Literacy to understand more concepts about prescription labels, how you can better understand the forms that are in front of you in a doctor's office. They'll help you understand your care and coverage and concepts that will be important as you turn into an adult. Family Voices of Wisconsin has a website that you can look up that has fact sheets and information that's relevant for children, youth, and families alike as they're learning new concepts in insurance. You can also visit us at abcforhealth.org or call us if you have any questions, and we can try to answer them as well together. Thanks for joining us as we look at a quick video on the importance of understanding health insurance at any age. I hope you found this useful and keep thinking about the basics of insurance and why it's important to you. Thank you.